Here are 5 set and forget things that you can do right now to quit brain rot forever, coming from someone who hasn't consumed online entertainment by themselves in 10 months. First of all, we can't rely on willpower. If you're trying to remove a bad habit, then relying on willpower is the worst thing that you can possibly do. Some days you're going to have willpower, some days you're not going to have willpower. If you're relying on an emotion, it's not going to be consistent and it's not going to make long-term changes. The best thing that we can possibly do is change the environment. If we're trying to remove brain rot, then we need to remove the access. We need to eliminate access, cut access to the source, because if you don't have access to brain rot, you can't use brain rot. And if you can't use brain rot, how can you be addicted to brain rot? Right, let's get into this. First things first, delete the apps. Remove any apps that are specifically designed to provide brain rot. Perfect example is TikTok. What productive activity could you possibly be doing on TikTok? Probably nothing. If there's nothing productive that you can possibly be doing on TikTok except for receiving brain rot, then why is it on your phone? First thing we need to do is get rid of any app that is providing you brain rot. Apps like TikTok, it's very easy. It's like, okay, we can only use brain rot. Let's get rid of that. Easy. There might be apps that are a little bit harder. For example, Instagram or YouTube. So Instagram, for example, you could also be using to message your friends. You might have group chats on there. You might be posting things. This is where we delete the app, and to use the app, we use it on the desktop. Same thing with YouTube. Delete the app, use it on the desktop, because when we use it on the desktop, we have more customizability. One of the absolute game changers for me has been switching to the desktop for using things like Instagram or YouTube and using something called Undistracted, which is a Chrome extension. I don't have an affiliation to it, but what happens is you can change the interface. So on Instagram, you can get rid of the home feed, you can get rid of Reels completely, you can get rid of stories, you can get rid of everything. So when you go on Instagram, there is nothing providing you brain rot. You can just post whatever you need to post, or you can just message whoever you want to message, and you can just use it to get the utility out of it, not get the brain rot. Same thing with YouTube. You can change the interface so you're not getting a bunch of recommended videos, so that you've removed the shorts completely. If you've removed the short form content, if you've removed the brain rot, then you can only use it for the more valuable aspects that those platforms have to offer. So to recap, first 2 things. First of all, get rid of all the apps, delete all the apps. And number 2, if there's any apps you actually need to use, then use it on the desktop. Number 3 is delete your accounts. If you have a TikTok account, then delete it. If you delete the account, then what's going to happen is that you're going to lose all of your algorithm. All of that algorithm that was just constantly receiving data about what you like to specifically give you as much dopamine as possible, you're just removing that. You're just deleting the algorithm. So if you go to re-download TikTok, you don't have your account. You're gonna have to start all over again, and you're gonna start getting knitting videos and funny cat videos, which are probably not gonna interest you, which means that TikTok is less enjoyable, which means you're probably gonna spend less time on TikTok. If we delete the accounts that are purely providing brain rot, we're resetting the algorithm so that if we decide to go back, then it's not going to be as fun. And if it's not as fun, we're probably less likely to return. 4th thing we can do is to block web access. So if you're someone who's just deleted TikTok, you've just deleted Instagram from your phone, but you realize, oh, but I could definitely access it on the internet. I could just search this up on Google Chrome and I could find Instagram and I could get in and get my brain rot this way. What we can do is we can set up the settings on our phone so that we can't access certain websites. In particular, we can't access the websites we're receiving brain rot from. You can't access TikTok on your phone. You can't access Instagram on your phone. Perfect. We can do the exact same thing on our laptop. Maybe you want to use Instagram for messaging and for posting, but you only want to use it certain times of the day. This is where cold turkey is really good, because what you can do is you can set it up so between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. at night, I can access Instagram, but the rest of the day, I can't access it. That significantly reduces the window where you could be spending time brain rotting. So very, very smart thing to remove web access after we've deleted all the apps, after we've made sure that we're using it on our computer. Remove access or restrict access to certain times of the day so that we don't have access to these things that we know are not beneficial for our brain for the entirety of the day. So cutting off that web access is just going to be another really good way of removing a potential avenue for consuming brain rot. 5th thing we can do is block access to apps. So you can download an app called Opal. There's probably a lot of other apps that do this, and you can set it up in a way that if you have TikTok on your phone and you try to open it, Opal's going to block it. It's not going to allow you to actually access TikTok. I recommend doing this even if you plan on deleting an app, because, for example, if I set it up so that if I go to open TikTok, I can't access it, and then I delete TikTok, then what happens is if I'm in a moment of weakness where I re-download the app and I go to open TikTok, it's still blocked. I still can't access it. And that's just so much friction between you and receiving brain rot. It's very, very hard to consume the brain rot. And if it's really hard to do, if it's very inconvenient, you're far less likely to do it. How much better is this than just relying on willpower? Just saying, you know what? I'm not going to consume brain rot. And you have all this willpower today, and then tomorrow you have none and you're consuming brain rot. Rather than that, we can set up a few things, put a few things in place so that it's almost impossible to consume brain rot. And if it's impossible to consume brain rot, we're not going to consume brain rot. You're not going to be addicted to brain rot. Your brain might start functioning properly. You might realize, I actually don't have ADHD. I just have all these symptoms from destroying my brain with this instant gratification garbage that's being provided on the internet. Now, this is a very small part of removing access, which is one layer to my 5-tier fortress system where I go through how to remove online entertainment, remove bad habits without requiring willpower. I cover every single layer, every single tier of this system inside of my school community, which is 100% free. You have complete access to this. You don't have to pay a cent for it. If you're interested in that, if you want to find out how I not only remove doom scrolling, but how I remove things like video games, how I remove things like binge watching TV shows, all of this stuff I show you how to do, not only preventing access, but every single layer, every single tier of leverage that you can possibly use to remove these bad habits from your life. If you're interested in checking that out, I'll leave a link in the description below. If you found something interesting and useful from this video that you can maybe add to your life, then let me know about it. There's probably some videos around here that you might be interested in, so I'll see you in one of those.